updated my Garmin Cycling VO2 Max by connecting a assault bike to cycling app Zwift, and even got power data into Garmin. This is the assault bike in my gym. I connected my Garmin watch, a 6S Pro, to have heart rate on the assault bike. For this, one goes into settings, sensors and accessories, wrist heart rate, broadcast during activity on. If one wants to record the activity also locally on the Garmin watch, or uses the broadcast heart rate function. This is how it looks like if it is off, and then it turns on. One then clicks this button here on the assault bike. Pressing it long for the first time results in AND plus HR, which is the connection that is established with the Garmin Fenix 6S Pro. If one then presses again, it enters Bluetooth mode, which is needed to connect it to the phone to Zwift. We can also already see that the heart rate from the Galaxy, not the Galaxy Watch, but the Garmin Fenix 6S Pro is already displayed. Then one opens up Zwift, and ideally one already has an account. I do not pay for Zwift and I was able to connect it. So I was searching and I found the assault bike via Bluetooth. I then connected the assault bike as a power source. Here we see that there is no signal. After a certain amount of time, the assault bike turns itself again off, so one needs to be quick when selecting the workout. Here we again see what it looks like if there is no signal. I turned the Bluetooth on the assault bike again on, and I found the bike. It then shows a power source that is connected, a cadence sensor that is also connected, and the heart rate I previously already connected to Zwift via the 6S Pro, which it found again. The heart rate here does not stem from the assault bike, but is a connection from the 6S Pro to the Zwift app. I then wanted a workout that was maybe 10 to 20 minutes just to test. I searched for VO2 Max workout and found this one that has only 24 minutes. I then clicked on the workout and then eventually to start the ride. It gave me a couple of different options in terms of the terrain, and also I could pick different worlds, Watopia or also Makuri. Now, because the assault bike has handles and normal bikes, indoor cycling bikes, do not have handles, I had the ability to put out way more wattage than was, well, indicated here. So for the warm-up I already chose something higher, but nonetheless for the intervals in this case we can see that there is a 130 interval at 245 watts, but of course this is if you are using only legs, so I don't know if there are specific assault bike workouts within Zwift or if there is any app that has specifically assault bike workouts. I was only to connect the assault bike previously to an app called ErgZone. Here we can see different things. First of all, this is kind of the workout. It said 8.5 minutes of pain. This was like a shorter workout description. Then we can also see the intervals, so the recovery phase is 90 watts at 1 minute and 30. I usually drove maybe 150 watts, and then for the intervals I actually drove as hard as I could, which sometimes actually did not fulfill the requirement as seen here, but there was also a latency in the transmission, so maybe 1 to 2 seconds at least. When entering the next zone, it showed me these circles, and once I drove through, I was entering basically the next interval or recovery phase. It also gave me short instructions such as longer and high intensity, cling on in there, believe in your ability. Now this is the ride report afterwards. I interrupted the workout midway or 2/3 to the end goal because I did no longer have time. So this is what it looks like. It also shows me the different heart rate zones. I don't know if these are from Garmin imported or if Zwift calculates them itself, and I don't know which max heart rate it then uses. Here again the same ride report, and we also can see the power distribution here. We can see that I on average drove 221 watts, which of course now is slightly distorted because, well, usually Zwift only connects to normal indoor cycling bikes, and I don't know if it has information about the assault bike and that the assault bike has additionally handles and is an air bike. The distance was 9.7 kilometers. Here we see the time, and then we also now see that I now have a level, which is something, and I have 222 XP until the next level. It also showed me that my FTP increase or that my FTP increased. So from previously 123 watts, I now have 222 watts. But again, these values might be distorted because Swift might not know that I do have an assault bike. After it told me I do have a new streak, which is currently 1 day, or actually 0 days, I did take a look into Garmin Connect, and here we already have the ride. Previously, I already connected my Garmin account in the Swift Companion app, or I did it on the web. This is what the app looks like. One goes into settings, then clicks on connections, and here one can connect the Garmin account, which in my case is already done. Because my activities from Garmin are already submitted to Strava, I did not additionally connect my Strava account, even though it might transmit data additionally. If I now click on one activity, on the activity imported from Swift, then we can see that Garmin also has the GPS data from Swift. So Garmin treats it like I actually drove there with an assault bike on the street, with an average power of 206 watts, which is different from what Swift showed me. And it also shows that the activity stems from App Swift. And now the graphs. We can see that I rode 6 meters or 65, or it does actually not show the elevation difference. We have an average speed of 35.9 kilometers per hour and a maximum speed of 52 kilometers per hour. Then I do have an average wattage of 206, a maximum wattage of 691. Then we have an average heart rate of 148, which again stems from the Garmin Fenix 6S Pro connected to the Swift app and not to the assault bike, even though on the assault bike I additionally had my Garmin 6S Pro connected just to also see it. Then I apparently had a training effect of 2.5, a anaerobic training effect of 0.6 and 2.5 aerobic. We also have cadence data, and I also have the time in heart rate zones, which is now, is this identical to Swift? No, I would say it's not. So here we have blue zone a lot, and we have the other zones somewhat evenly distributed. In Garmin, on the other hand, I do have lots of time in zone 4 and way less time in zone 2, as indicated in Swift. Now, what's also nice is that it shows me power zones. So previously I only had power zones when I ran with my Garmin Fenix 7S Pro now. So I do have both. And it showed me wrist-based running power whenever I would run with the 7S Pro. But here we also now have power zones. And apparently there are 7. So we have neuromuscular, anaerobic, VO2 max, threshold, tempo, endurance, and active recovery. And to answer the question of the questions, did my cycling VO2 max update? I only had one cycling VO2 max up until now. I was able to ride somewhere where someone, let's say it's simpler, someone I know had does have a Wahoo station and connected his cycling bike to it. And I was able to ride once on there, and therefore I got a Garmin cycling VO2 max of 54. But now it has updated with the assault bike I used in the gym, and now it is 56. Now, the question is whether Garmin knows that Swift knows that it's an assault bike, and whether they both kind of calculate or would calculate differently, because otherwise my cycling VO2 max might be way too high, at least in this calculation.